It's hard to deny that The Wheel of Time is the greatest fantasy novel of all time. I will die on that hill until I read something better, so let me know what tops it because I haven't seen it yet. But it makes it even harder because tier ranking this thing is really challenging when all the books are just so good. And today I'm going to be trying to do just that and giving my opinion on what the tier breaks are when it comes to the Wheel of Time series, and it's gonna ruffle some feathers because one, I don't really believe there is a slog, and two, I have some favorites that are a little higher than many believe to be as high as they are. Starting with Eye of the World, Luz Theron losing his mind, about to break the world. Oh, but you don't know that. You don't know that because you are reading this for the first time. So it's a little difficult to know what's going on here. Still epic. This book, I'm gonna have to throw it in B tier. B tier to start. You meet all the core characters, Nynaeve, Egwene, Rand, Mat, Perrin, even Tom and Podon Fane are here. Moiraine drops the Aes Sedai bomb in the middle of a Trolloc battle that just catches the whole town by surprise. It's a lot, and it's a great, great ode to Tolkien, which I think it's very much, and admittedly so from Robert Jordan, meant to be. You've got the concept of channeling, Moiraine showing off that she really can just take out just about anything. There's not much to oppose the Aes Sedai and how serious and powerful they are, but you also meet so many core civilizations, ideologies, things are clashing. You can feel all of this world building piling up. It's going somewhere really great, but there is a lot of walking. And I remember finishing this first book and thinking, all right, we got a cool story here. I can run with this. The Great Hunt is an epic journey. It's an exciting series of events. It's a chase down. It's a track down, and it's a lot of fun. Where do I have you going? It's gotta be high B tier. It's not quite A tier. I'm sorry. I know this isn't a lot of people's like top 3 even, but for me, B tier, high B tier is where it's gonna stand. For me, a lot of this point of the book is Mat really sucks. I know it has to do with the dagger. As a first-time reader experiencing the Mat-focused chapters, you don't really like him as a person. To come forward, it will be one of the greatest turnarounds in what I think about a character in any fantasy series I've ever read. Mat's just, he becomes my favorite. But this chase is nuts. You get introduced to the portal stones, you've got Selene involved, and Podon Fane, who's going absolutely nuts. I mean, the killings with Podon Fane are brutal, next level fantasy darkness. You do get to see inside the tower for the first time, the girls becoming novices, Elaine gets involved, Egwene gets captured, which is high intensity. You've got the Soldam, the Damane, the Adam. It's just a serious rescue mission tied in. So yes, absolutely. I really enjoy this more than Eye of the World, but it's still lacking a little bit for me. And I think what a lot of readers will agree on is that these endings in Wheel of Time have this crazy what the heck is going on Jordan finish. In Eye of the World, you just have Rand transporting to Tarwin's Gap, and in this book it's just he's fighting in the sky. This book is an overload of concepts. It's solid execution, but again, it's not quite the highest tier. I do remember after this book thinking, I'm not committing to all 15. Mat blowing the horn at the end is awesome. You've got these ghost warriors from ages past coming out to battle. I think another tip of the cap to Tolkien. Absolutely great book, but not quite A tier. Dragon Reborn takes this series and kind of topples it on its head because it shows you don't need just the main protagonist, Rand al'Thor, to make a book really good. Because when the main POV shifts, it's a gamble, and I think in this book it paid off. But for me, I'm still pumping it at B tier. I totally understand Rand probably getting a little moody after finding out he's the Dragon Reborn. I, as a reader, did not buy in immediately, even though the book title is Dragon Reborn. I thought maybe it's still Mat, it could be Perrin. They were all having these dreams. They're all Ta'veren. It's just, who knows? But this is where I started to really love Mat as a character. He's free of the dagger. His mood changes a bit. He's got this crazy luck, which goes throughout the series. Also, he wrecks Gawain and Galad. Also, this is where Perrin meets Faile, which she's not my favorite. I know people love her. She's not my favorite. Everybody in this story needs love, especially with how dark things are going to be. We've got the whole concept of Elaine's mother, Morghese, being hypnotized by Gabriel, and that's another Forsaken in the mix. But we get the Maidens of the Spear, the Stone of Tyr falls, Kalendor is wielded. It is a wild ride. Moiraine uses Balefire to take out one of the Forsaken. It's a really good book, and it has a great ending. The Shadow Rising. This is where the Wheel of Time goes from very good to legendary immediately. Immediately, we all know it. I hope you all think so. S tier, automatic S tier for me. This book has everything. It's a top 10 book of all time for me. Rhuidean is intense. It's nuts. Rand breaks the Aiel spirit. We knew it was coming, but not in this way. Perrin, back at Two Rivers, having that war. Just, whoa. Perrin Golden Eyes for the win. You've got Matt in the Twisted Red Door, the Islefin, and the 3 questions, and he's just a classic Matt humor, just getting locked into that awkward sequence, but it changes the game. He almost dies. He does die. He's hung around the neck. He's saved by Rand. Not only do you have the whole Kara Karn sequence, but then you have Egwene. The world building is just massively expanding here. She's learning to dreamwalk. It is wild how much bigger this world gets immediately from 3 to 4, and the execution, it is just some of the best writing. I mean, there's almost no way you could get to book 4, finish it, and go, I'm done with the series. I'll stop after this. There's no way. I would love to see it. Prove it. Fires of Heaven hits. It has a sacrifice that is just absolutely mind-blowing. Losing the guiding light in Moiraine through the doorway with Lanfear. I have to go A tier. I have to go A tier here. It's so good. I don't think it's fair to let that moment push this quite high enough into S tier. Not everybody can be S tier. They're all S tier in my heart. They're all S tier in my heart, let's be honest. And not to say there's not also good moments. Matt kills Couladin, Brigitte appears, you've got Nynaeve and Moghedien going at it, this very tense rivalry coming to a peak, and Matt, who of course the only one who could possibly go through these otherworldly experiences, meets the Eelfin by going through the door. I mean, only Matt. Also, Eelfin, I read these books, I didn't audiobook them, so I'm not really sure how to pronounce things, and you are ready and able to roast me in the comments, you should. A book with no Perrin, it's gonna take a hit. No, that's not why. I mean, they can't all be S, guys. And you know, thinking of that, Lord of Chaos, I just complained about one crazy sequence, one crazy scene cannot count for the whole book. Dumai's Wells. Oh, S or A. Dumai's Wells. It's gotta be A. It's ahead of Fires. It's ahead of Fires, I'll give it that. Rand in a box. Nobody puts Rand in a box. I think that might be one of the most savage moments I've ever read. The analogy on the page about basically being a meat grinder. Ugh, whoa. Nowhere in this series up until this point that truly showed how ridiculous this power was. And yes, Balefire basically erases you from history, erases you from the pattern, but this is a lot more gruesome. But you've got the Ashaman, you've got Mazrim Taim, you've got the Aes Sedai kneeling. It's legendary. Crown of Swords. This is where people say the slog begins. Now, I have already stood hard and said, I don't believe there's a slog. And I know a lot of people dislike Crown of Swords. Crown of Swords, I am going to pop it into C tier. I have to put it into C tier. It's not as good as the first 3, and I think it catches way too much flack. The Seanchan are back. Matt and Tuon, this situation's gonna boil up, and you know it. But we have a lot of groundbreaking stuff going on here. Nynaeve is working on the whole stilling process and undoing it, which is a major player in the future going forward. Cad Swain gets involved. Where the heck did she surface from? It's pretty good timing with Moiraine dying, I gotta say that. This is where Rand starts to, not that Rand was the most likable character, but for me, Rand's not the most likable for sure, starting here. And but the whole pursuit of the Bowl of Winds and then using the Bowl of Winds, epic. I thought Matt was dead at the end of this book, which crushed me because in Path of Daggers, we get no Matt, which I'm sorry, but when you remove my favorite character from a series, it's really, really hard for me to love it as much as the other books. There's some other reasons, and I think you know why, but Path of Daggers goes down into D tier for me. Rand tries to use Kalendor solo, and it's a very, very riveting scene. He almost destroys everyone and everything. Fail's also captured, and as you know from my previous statement, I'm not a huge fan of her or Perrin chasing after her, so that being a big staple of this book kind of lets it drag for me. Probably also gonna get a lot of hate for this, but Elaine is not. I mean, she's so boring. She's so boring to me, and this book is so heavy tilt to Elaine. And I'm not gonna say I don't like politics in this series. I really do think it's pretty cool. The Game of Houses, I'm all about it, but Elaine, she's not doing it for me. But I still ripped through this book. Like, I wasn't complaining about it just any bit. I wasn't like, hold on, we're halfway through. Maybe I should revisit the thought of getting through this entire series. No. It was game on. And that's where I think a lot of you are going to disagree, because you're saying we're peak slog, and I'm saying Winter's Heart, A tier. A tier. The cleansing of Saidin, that alone should do it for you. The Forsaken are all over the place in this one. There is so much plotting going on. It's wild. You have Rand doing the triple bond with Avienda and Elaine and Min, which, hey man, good for you, bro. And Matt's alive. Matt is alive. We couldn't keep going without Matt. And he's back, and there is tons of him in this book, and that makes it absolutely epic. Also, because he brings levity, finding out that Tuon is the daughter of 9 moons, that's awkward. Really, the only thing I think for me that brings this down is the amount of time Perrin chases Fail for, which I get that plot point. I'm curious if that's a painful arc for a lot of people. Winter's Heart gets such a bad rap. It gets such a bad rap. It needs the love. It's getting A tier from me. Let me know in the comments if you think I'm out of my mind. Somebody has to be at the bottom. It's gotta be Crossroads. The Path of Daggers? Nah, it's Crossroads. It's Crossroads, guys. I'm sorry. I feel like hopefully a lot of us are aligned here. This is like the Order of the Phoenix of Harry Potter for Wheel of Time. There is just a lot of fluff and dragging, and yes, it has really good moments too, but there is so much empty air. I don't want to beat the dead horse. You know, there are great moments, like I said. You have Perrin getting super aggressive, which is a side to him that we've not really seen, and kind of something that's been pent up and we've wanted to see. Also, Egwene getting captured. It has its moments. It has its moments. I thought I'd add New Spring in there because even though it's not main 14 books, I think it's essential to read. If you don't want to know how Moiraine and Lan met, then I don't think you are a lover of Wheel of Time as much as you claim to be. Also, this thing is so short. It's like nothing when you read all the other books. It's like you can get through it in a day. Honestly, so much more went into Path of Daggers and Crossroads, so it's... But it is a better read. I'm gonna go C tier. Yeah, that feels right. That feels right. It's a good book. You get the prophecy starting, you get Siwan and Moiraine experiencing that and kicking off the whole journey that is Wheel of Time. I read it after book 10 in publication order. I recommend that to everybody. I think some people read it after book 5 or 6, maybe after Moiraine dies, just because they're missing her, and that's fair. Robert Jordan is an absolute master. Knife of Dreams. He just mic dropped. Knife of Dreams is gotta go S. It's gotta go S for me. Egwene in this book is such a boss, and I was, enjoying her as a character, but she levels up. We got Perrin rescuing Fail, so we could put that behind him. He chooses the hammer, and Matt proposed. Matt, the Band of the Red Hand. What a book. And Rand loses a hand, and of course this is sad. Jordan went out with a bang. This is his last book, but man, do we need to thank the fantasy gods, because his baton handoff to Brandon Sanderson, it was... Let's just get into it. I already was reading Brandon Sanderson as an author. I think he's fantastic. So I could tell right away the change in voice from the last book to this one. And I think he did an incredible job trying to match it as best he could with giving it some of his own personality, but staying true to Jordan's work. That in itself is a monumentally challenging thing to do. Egwene and the tower stuff is one thing, but we get really dark Rand. He almost turns on his dad. He goes nuts to take out Grandal, and then he has his coming to Jesus moment at Dragonmount. He's getting ready for this big final battle. Am I going B or A? I'm A. I'm A for sure. I can't tell if I want to go before or after Winter's Heart. It's a tier-based thing, guys. It's a tier-based thing. They're in A tier. Be happy with it. Towers of Midnight, we've got the final positioning before the final book. He's setting everything up, something that I don't think anybody thought was possible. Oh man, Sanderson just kept getting better and better. Definitely better than Gathering Storm. Again, why is it that Winter's Heart has me so thrown? I don't think Fires. I think, yeah, that feels, we're gonna put Towers of Midnight right there in A tier. I think my favorite parts here is just Matt going into the tower to get Moiraine. You've got Noel revealing himself as Jane Farstrider, who they've been reading about all these years. Perrin forges his hammer, takes out the Dream Spike. I think this is an example of an incredibly well-written book without needing the Dumai's Wells type moments to put it into A tier, and it still achieves that. And the finale, Memory of Light, Chef's Kiss branded. The last battle is here. It is done right. It's not just done right, it's done tremendously. I honestly was like, there are so many things to still wrap up. And it's like Sanderson just had a check-off list, like, you're done, you're done, you're done, you're done, let's get it done. And not just, oh, let's close that loop. No, let's close that loop in an epic way. The last battle chapter itself is basically a book. It's the best chapter maybe I've ever read. It's ridiculously long, and I remember starting it at maybe like 9 or 10 at night when I was going to bed. You know, you flip open to it, you're like, whoa. I always do the peek. You ever do the peek to see how many pages you got to get through? I did the peek and I'm like, whoa, I guess I'll just get to like a little bit and go. I went to bed at like 3 in the morning because I had to finish it. It was that good. I mean, every single thing mattered. Every single thing mattered. And Rand lighting his pipe at the end. I mean, I had tears. I had tears in my eyes. Just of awe. Of awe. S tier for sure. Does it beat Shadow? It does. It does. It does. It's my favorite book of all time. At least in the top 3. At least in the top 3 books of all time. It is so good. I couldn't have dreamt a better finale to a series than that. When we talk about Wheel of Time, it is thousands of pages, millions of words, and you got through it all. And it's so good that it does this strange thing that nobody that's never read it before would ever understand. No book I've ever experienced, no series I've ever experienced that long that you spent I spent years reading this series. No series makes you immediately think, wow, I'm gonna start that over. Do you know how good that has to be to make you think, I want to start that over and read it again? And I'm planning on doing that, and I'm so excited about it. But I thought I'd share my tier rankings with you guys. Let me know in the comments what you think. Is this absolutely whack? Is it ridiculous? What needs to move? I think some of you are going to think a lot of this needs to move. So if you enjoyed this ranking video, drop a like, subscribe, stick around for future videos. I've had a total blast connecting with the reading community so far. It's made me really, really happy that I started this channel, and I hope to continue to do so. So hit me up in the comments. What are your thoughts on Wheel of Time? And remember, folks, as always, a chapter a day keeps the brain rot away. Keep reading out there. Get through your winter. Adios.